A couple, Jared and Elaine, had just touched down in Los Angeles to attend the birthday party of Jared's best friend Terry. As they are getting out of the plane, Jared notices that Elaine is acting sick, but when he asks her about it, Elaine tells him that it is nothing. They later arrive at Terry's penthouse where everything is automatic and advanced. Jared congratulates Terry for achieving the finer things in life. With Terry's wife Candace and their assistant Denise, they all celebrate Terry's birthday via a pool party first, followed by a night of drinking and socializing. During the night party, Terry introduces Jared to his colleague named Ray. All hyped up with meeting him, Ray congratulates Jared for joining their team, something which Jared has no idea about. Thinking that her husband is making life decisions behind her back, Elaine retreats from the conversation. In turn, Jared confronts Terry for this abrupt decision without his consent. Here, Terry confesses that he needs Jared on his team because he is a talented guy, but Jared is hesitant due to thinking that he is not capable of achieving great things. Of course, even if Jared accepts and moves to LA, Elaine will not simply accept that decision easily without at least thinking it through. Later that night, Jared talks to his wife, who is still upset from what happened earlier. But it turns out that she was upset due to being pregnant. Jared is shocked by this revelation, telling Elaine that he is not ready yet to have a baby. This statement causes Elaine to leave the room. After the party is over and everyone gets to sleep, strange blue lights of unknown origin descend upon the city of Los Angeles. Everyone who sees the blue lights is magnetized and hypnotized by them. Within the penthouse, the first one to succumb to the blue light's effects is Ray, who instantly disappears. Denise, who is sleeping on the nearby couch, witnesses this disappearance and screams. Her voice awakens Jared, who is sleeping beside his wife. He comes to see the commotion, inadvertently leading him to the blue light. Much like Ray, he is also hypnotized by the lights, causing his face to sort of distort while he slowly approaches it. Fortunately, his best friend Terry stops him from going further to his doom, and the blue lights suddenly vanish, sparing Jared. But he is convulsing madly due to the strange effects of the blue lights. While they are checking on him, they also kept sight of the blue lights ascending back to the heavens. At this point, Jared returns to his consciousness, although he is a little shaken by the experience. When asked what happened to him, Jared admits that he does not know what has gotten to him, only that he is being unknowingly pulled toward the light. Terry carefully checks the outside and sees a fog-covered city, and there are two people on the roof of the adjacent building. Terry encourages his best friend to check it together, and Jared agrees. As such, he immediately arms himself with a pistol while Jared takes a nearby camera. Of course, Elaine disallows her husband to go on the dangerous task, but her pleas are not heard. For this reason, she has no choice but to let her husband go. Together, the two men carefully walk through the seemingly empty corridor of the building. Eventually, they meet an old man carrying a dog named Walt. The confused old man asks them what is going on, but the two best friends have no answer for him. After a while of walking, they reach the roof just in time to see the rising sun. They notice that the usual busy city is surprisingly calm and quiet. However, they get locked out when Jared forgets to hold the door open, trapping them on the roof. Unfortunately, the blue lights have returned once again, and the sky turns dark and thunderous. Seeing this as an opportunity to document what is happening, Jared takes a picture of one of the blue lights. But it isn't just blue lights descending from the heavens. Gigantic alien spaceships also arrive at the scene, abducting a huge number of people. Because of this, the best friends run back to the locked door to avoid getting abducted, trying to unlock the door using their strength. The door eventually swings open thanks to Elaine opening it from the other side. However, just as she opens it, she directly sees the blue lights emanating from the alien creature behind the two men. Since she is placed in a trance like Jared earlier, her husband pulls her back inside the building and promptly closes the door. He and Terry then take her back to the penthouse to let the effects subside. After the effects have worn off, the group looks at the photos taken by Jared earlier. Elaine comments that the blue lights are actually captivating, which is why they can take hold of a person. Not wanting to just get trapped helplessly, the armed Terry tells them that he will go to Walt's room, the old man from earlier. Jared heads to the bathroom to check his hips because the painful effect is still lingering there. When Elaine enters and tries to look at it, Jared insists that it is nothing. Meanwhile, Terry enters Walt's room, initially finding an empty large room. He sees the old man pop out from the furniture, telling him that he and his dog are hiding from the aliens. Just then, an alien creature arrives at the window of Walt's room, prompting the two men to hide. The creatures slowly enter the room and carefully inspect the vicinity. When one of the aliens destroys some bottles, the sound of breaking glass alarms the dog who flees Walt's embrace. Because of this, Walt follows his dog, causing him to fall prey to the alien creatures. Terry tries to shoot at the aliens before running away in terror. While he is returning to his penthouse, his wife, Candace, has just learned about his illicit affair with Denise the assistant via the photographs from the camera. As such, Candace furiously stares at Denise. But this gaze is broken by the sudden arrival of Terry, who is still traumatized from what happened. He tells them that the aliens are now entering the building, so they should leave immediately on his boat. Elaine disagrees with this because it is dangerous to go outside. While they are arguing, the blinds that cover their windows are slowly ascending due to their timer, exposing them to danger. They quickly hide as an alien creature immediately checks for a sign of life inside the room. When it fails to see one, it leaves. Terry then pressed some buttons in his room, causing the blinds to descend once again and giving them ample time to recover. It is here that Candace decides to confront her husband's infidelity, calling him a disgusting man. But Terry simply waves her off because he cannot deal with the problem at the moment. He resumes his argument about escaping the place, and this time, Jared agrees with him. As such, they all carefully proceed to go downstairs via the elevator. After reaching the basement parking area, Terry tells them that he will drive them there. But Candace takes the keys instead because she can also drive and knows the way. For this reason, Candace, Jared, and Elaine drive together in their car, while Terry and Denise ride together in a separate vehicle. Realizing that Candace has already learned about their affair, Denise apologizes to Terry. On their way out, they see a couple who are similarly planning to leave via their car, although the husband is very apprehensive about their presence, so they just continue driving toward the exit. Upon reaching the exit, Terry and Denise's car suddenly gets squashed by a gigantic alien foot. The sudden stomp instantly kills the assistant, but Terry miraculously survives. Terry attempts to shoot his way out of his situation, but in vain. He still gets snatched by the tentacles of the giant alien. Panicking, Jared, Elaine, and Candace drive away from the scene and further inside the basement parking area. But in the basement parking lot, the much smaller alien creatures are already inside, forcing them to turn around. As a result of their panic driving, they crash into a wall. The husband from the couple whom Jared and others have passed by is suddenly snatched away by the aliens, causing his wife to run away and ask for help. They try to open the door, but they are having a hard time doing it. When Jared looks back, he sees the alien creatures, hypnotizing him again. But this is abruptly cut when a car suddenly hits the creature, destroying it and revealing that the snatched husband is still alive and covered in black goo. However, one of the creature's tendrils takes hold of the husband's head and rips away his brain, traumatizing everyone there before they finally leave the area. The alien replaces its own brain with the husband's brain like it is some sort of battery. Meanwhile, now consisting of 6 people that includes the traumatized wife and the driver who crashed his car on the alien, Jared's group runs to the open pool area of the building. The gigantic alien creature sees them and quickly lunges toward them, managing to snatch away the wife from earlier with its tentacles. As they attempt to escape, gigantic extraterrestrial beings surround them on all sides. But the driver, Oliver, saves the day by shattering the glass window of the door that leads inside the building. While the aliens are ramming the building outside, Oliver tells the group that their best move is to head to the rooftop. Since they have no choice, they agree with his assessment. They stop by Terry's room to rest and recover their weary souls. It is here that Jared and Candace cry their hearts out, just now realizing that they both lost someone very dear and important in their lives. Seeing their devastation, Oliver pulls Jared aside and tells him not to dwell on what happened because their survival should be their utmost concern. When Candace puffs a cigarette to ease her stress, Elaine steps out of the smoke. Candace seems offended by this move, which is why Elaine tearfully confesses that she is pregnant. She fears that the stress from the overall situation might lead to her miscarriage, causing Candace to extinguish the cigarette. Oliver then tells Jared that they should watch each other back while the women take their rest. That evening, Oliver sees some people fighting back against a giant alien while driving in their car. Of course, since the alien is gigantic, it just easily rams the car into an establishment. Seeing this one-sidedness in terms of fighting is enough for feelings of despair and dread to rise among them. The following day, Elaine catches her husband staring at the markings on his skin, which he acquired from being exposed to the blue lights. She asks him if it is getting worse, but Jared does not answer her question. Instead, he tells her that being exposed to the blue light strangely elicits a feeling of being powerful and that he still feels this effect on his body. As time moves forward, Jared sees that the vein-like markings on his body are growing in size. Not wanting to stay in that room forever, Jared suggests that they should try to escape by boat again. Oliver sarcastically refuses this plan, and Elaine cannot believe that he is suggesting this even after what happened to Terry and Denise earlier. Oliver believes that his plan is faulty because they do not even know the next step to take once they successfully escape by boat. All of a sudden, they hear military planes passing by. Jared opens the television and sees a great number of jets, all ready to strike the hovering alien spaceship. To match this, the alien spaceship also deploys its own flying army. A great aerial battle occurs between humans and extraterrestrials. During this fight, one of the fighter planes carrying a nuclear warhead expertly maneuvers through the battle before finally delivering the payload. It is a direct hit, and the explosion instantly covers the whole city with a blinding light. The nuke is proven to be powerful enough to take the alien spaceship, causing Jared and the others to be happy and relieved. When Jared looks through the telescope, he notices that the smaller alien creatures are leaving their mothership like a swarm of flies. As such, Jared depressingly informs them that the aliens are not dead, but rather only furious. Oliver looks at the downed spaceship and sees that something is happening, although he does not know what it is yet. He instructs them to cover the windows as soon as possible. But instead of helping, Jared goes to the other room, prompting Elaine to follow him. Elaine asks her husband what he is doing, and Jared answers that he is leaving because he knows the angry aliens will come for everyone. As he gathers the essentials, Oliver orders him to stay put, but Jared does not want to remain in a dangerous place. Just then, a military chopper arrives nearby, and Jared wants to call their attention. However, Oliver stops him because he knows they will not care for them as they are currently in a state of war. Here, Jared urges his wife to come with him to the rooftop so that they can head to the helicopter together. Elaine questions his decision, and Oliver confronts his recklessness. When Jared still insists, Oliver strikes him in the face, causing the markings to appear on Jared's face. All of a sudden, Jared overpowers the driver and chokes him on the wall. He tells him that he is not going to abandon his family before letting him go. By this point, Elaine is afraid of this sudden shift in behavior. He proves to her that he is still her loving husband, which is enough to convince Elaine to come with him. As such, they leave both Oliver and Candace behind while they head to the rooftop. Armed with a fireman's axe, Jared climbs up with his wife and calls out to the soldiers from the adjacent building. Just as a helicopter is arriving to retrieve them, tentacles from an alien creature suddenly pull back the vehicle. Although a soldier fires a rocket at the creature, the alien still manages to take down the chopper before its defeat. All Jared can do is scream in despair at the sight. The helicopter's rotor blade almost hit the couple, but they are lucky to survive. Meanwhile, Candace is looking out at the window using the telescope when she is suddenly hypnotized by the aliens. It turns out that merely seeing the blue lights even through a telescope can induce the effects. As such, Candace is taken away by the aliens and Oliver cannot do anything about it. Fortunately for him, a soldier takes the alien down using his rocket launcher. Out in the distance, he sees that the downed alien spaceship is slowly being fixed piece by piece. Oliver also sees a rampaging alien from below who sees him. Knowing that this will be his last stand, he retreats further inside the room and waits for the alien to arrive at the windows. He then opens the stove's gas and takes one last cigarette. However, the intended explosion fails to occur because his lighter is not working. As such, the creature's tentacles attempt to snatch him away. Lucky for him, the alien creature gets distracted when a soldier fires at its back. Oliver takes this opportunity to retrieve the lighter, but the creature has taken hold of him again. Only this time, the lighter finally works, causing an explosion that kills both Oliver and the gigantic alien. Meanwhile, Jared and Elaine attempt to retreat inside the building, but they discover an alien behind the door. The alien's tendril almost completely seizes Elaine, if not for Jared cutting it down with his axe. However, as they run away, the alien reattaches its severed tentacle with ease. As the Los Angeles skies turn into another battlefield, Jared gets hit in the thigh by one of the creature's limbs, causing him to collapse in pain. Here, the alien takes hold of his head, attempting to steal his brain. Fortunately, Elaine rescues him by attacking the alien directly to its brain using the axe. But despite her effort to take it down, the alien still gets back up and attacks her. Elaine is almost devoured by the extraterrestrial enemy when Jared, revitalized by the markings on his body, charges at it. He takes a nearby hollow block and repeatedly bashes the creature's head with it, eventually killing it with all his might. Elaine snaps him out of his rage-fueled series of attacks and carries him back to safety. At this time, a gigantic smoldering alien, presumably the same one that Oliver has taken down, is about to attack the couple, but it gets stopped when military planes launch their attacks against the creature. With each series of attacks, the couple moves away from the creature that is still slowly following them until it finally gets defeated when a fighter jet accidentally crashes into it, exploding into a fiery blaze. Weakened by the effect of the markings, Jared cannot find the strength to stand anymore despite Elaine's support. Above them, a giant alien spaceship slowly hovers toward them. All the couple can do at that moment is share a loving yet somber embrace. Without resistance, they get abducted by the spaceship. On the way there, they share one final and significant kiss. 3 days later, the aliens also attack other major cities around the world like New York and London. Inside the alien spaceship, Elaine wakes up covered in black goo. She is the only one awake, and she witnesses Jared's brain getting ripped off of his body. Helplessly whimpering from the sight, it is finally her turn to be executed. When the aliens pull her from the batch, they discover that she is pregnant. For this reason, the aliens have decided to remove her from the batch and take her instead to another room that functions like a maternity ward where the women's babies are forcibly taken away. However, one of the aliens whose brain belonged to Jared suddenly protects Elaine and her baby from the aliens by attacking them. Scared at first, she recognizes that it is Jared due to the alien's action being similar to that of her husband, who is ready to defend her at all costs. The movie realistically shows us that an alien invasion is not only unpredictable but also unpreventable in the sense that we will never defeat them due to their advancements in otherworldly nature. The fact that they have intergalactic travel is a testament to that, which is somewhat similar to how colonizers used to easily defeat the natives of the land that they conquered primarily due to the gap between technological advancement. However, it also has the wonderful message that love prevails all, which is shown with the alien possessing Jared's brain still intending to protect her from all harm.